Hello again. Very much in line with the type of actions of the ICI program, you can also find international collaborative initiatives funding a great variety of projects in the field of resources management and climate change issues. This is the case of the Belmont Forum. Take a look at the website. The funding opportunities of the Belmont Forum are called collaborative research actions, where several forum members and partner organizations work collaboratively to meet a certain challenge by issuing international calls for proposals. The members, these are governmental funding agencies like research institutions or education ministries like the German Research Foundation, DFG, or the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, BMBF, or the European Union Commission. You can find different partners of the Belmont Forum from around the world. The Group on Earth Observations, the Inter-Academy Partnership, International Science Council, or the International Institute for Applied Sciences Analysis. There are a lot of them that also participate in the Belmont Forum, co-financing these measures. At the moment, there are no calls open, but you can see in the given link the diversity of interest topics that have been funded by the Forum in the last years. Another very interesting donor is the Blue Action Fund. Blue Action Fund supports national and international NGOs in their efforts to conserve the oceans and coastal lines in the developing world. The BAF recognizes that while the critical importance of oceans is well understood, human pressure continues and oceans and coasts are under severe threat. Additional funding is necessary so that existing conservation efforts can be continued and scaled up and new ones commenced. The BAF was established in 2016 by the German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, through its KfW Development Bank. In June 2017, the Swedish Ministry for Foreign Affairs joined as a donor. The Agence Française de Développement, AFD, became a donor as well in October 2018. At the moment, there is a very interesting call open for proposals called Ecosystem-Based Adaptation in Western Indian Ocean. Take a look at the websites from the Blue Action Fund and also from the Belmont Forum and check out the grants procedures manuals and also their results frameworks for a better understanding on their concepts on project management. The previous types of donors have a very concrete aim, which is to implement direct measures on the field. For example, the implementation of nature-based solutions such as mangrove plantations for recovering coastal zones and protecting populations for the risks of tsunamis, etc. The proponents propose projects that analyze the environmental and socio-economic impacts of such actions and plan the implementation or the planting of such measures like the planting of mangroves. So these funding measures are more directed to real applications of restoration of ecosystems and not so much applied to or directed to research. Research funding is more the policy of donors like the European Commission and its Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme. The Horizon 2020 program is the biggest EU research and innovation program ever, with nearly 80 billion of funding available over 7 years, from 2014 until 2020, 80 billion euros. It promises more breakthroughs, discoveries and world firsts by taking great ideas from the lab to the market. It has a different character than the previous funding programs. It is more research and innovation oriented. The program ends this year, but the new program is already ready to start and is called Horizon Europe. The Horizon 2020 program has different sections. The most interesting for us as ITT is definitely the section of the societal challenges. In this section, the funding concentrates on the following 7 challenges. Cross-cutting across the different challenges, different calls are then released over the years of the Horizon 2020 program. For example, the call Greening the Economy in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. If you want more information about this call and others, please take a look at your Horizon 2020 website. This call was due in September 2019 and had the following different impacts requested by the donor. Here you can see the expected impacts that should be addressed by every project that applies with a proposal to this funding measure. Another very interesting program to which the ITT always applies, at least in the last 3 years, is the funding program called PRIMA, Partnership for Research and Innovation in the Mediterranean Area. The PRIMA program runs until 2028, and it consists of European Union member states, the Horizon 2020 associated countries, and the Mediterranean partner countries that work all on an equal footing basis, co-ownership, co-management, and co-funding. So it's not only funded by the Horizon 2020 and the European Commission, but also funded by the Mediterranean partner countries. The participating countries are Algeria, Croatia, Cyprus, Egypt, France, Germany, Greece, Israel, several other more like Portugal, Slovenia, Spain, Tunisia, Turkey, etc. And they all have formally become PRIMA participating states by committing themselves to co-financing the program together with the European Commission and the Horizon 2020 program. The formulation of the PRIMA program general goals is very interesting because it reflects the results chain that we have spoken about at the beginning of the lecture. Remember, project outputs should induce changes in the capacities which are preconditions for changes in behavior, in practices and performances that will ultimately lead to changes in welfare of end users, or also called the target groups. So this statement of the general goals of the PRIMA program quite well reflect what we have learned about the causality chain between activities, outputs, outcomes, and the impacts or goals of a project. The project has 3 thematic areas: management of water, farming systems, and agro-food value chains. For these areas, the program denominates specific intermediate outcomes that should be achieved by the single projects. These are called the operational objectives of the PRIMA program. For each outcome, the program even gives the types of outputs that should be implemented that the program expects from each project that applies for funding. So a project proposal should take guidance on this results framework given by the PRIMA program when formulating its own results chain. Take a look at the PRIMA 2020 calls for proposals under the given link and find inspiration on all the program sections so that you can take ideas for even formulating your own proposal in the framework of our module. The ITT is again this year participating in this call for proposals with a deadline on the 13th of May. So have fun and see you later.